Because I think if we get flustered as therapists with couples and we're in the same boat as the couple, it's going to be really hard to pull them out of where they're at.
If you catch it early, you can take a 5-minute break. You can go splash some water on your face, take a few deep breaths, and return to the conversation. If you don't catch it early, you are going to need that full 20 minutes to calm down. But I try to get people to do this much sooner in the interaction when they're at like a 3 or a 4 or a 5, not a 6 or a 7 or an 8.
It's also the case that as couples start to share more of their lives together, differences take on a different meaning as well. So as you start to share housing or finances, or you have kids together, or you have a pet, or you're spending more and more time together, you get more directly affected by differences between you and your partner.
I want you guys to practice again what it's like to be an active listener. And you're going to attempt to hit every conflict with the idea that there are 2 ways to look at it.
In terms of integrating sex and relational interventions, that's another place where if we're more inclusive and expansive in our formulations around how does the theme show up in physical intimacy, in sexuality, in affection, and in touch? Like, that's going to help us pay more attention to it as we're moving through the active therapy part of it, and make sure that the domains that are relevant to sexuality keep kind of showing up as you move through it.
Throughout, we want to be showing them live what it looks like to see both sides, to model empathy so that they can see that and experience it from you.
The first 3 minutes of a conversation ultimately dictate its end. So if criticism is the gateway drug, the antidote to criticism, and this is a tool that I use like out the wazoo, and it's the hardest one to use, but it's the soften startup. I feel about what I need. So if I come to my partner and I say, I'm feeling really lonely, and I'm feeling really misunderstood. I'm feeling hurt, I'm angry, because when we first met, we were having great sex. We were talking, we were dating each other, we were playful. And now that we've been married for a while, none of that's happening.
Patterns of interaction or patterns of communication. And this reflects their attempt to cope with and resolve the central theme.
The application of IBCT once you're through the feedback process. And particularly, I'm going to highlight the interventions that are unique to IBCT.
And growing up in a very conservative home and environment, what I learned was that there were specific rules to love. And if you completed all those rules, then you would have this lasting perfect love, right? So some of you can hear that anxious attachment background.
Often the things that attract people to another partner are things that they get access to that they might not otherwise have access to.
It asks a couple questions like, what's something that went well this week? What's something that was challenging? What's something that is coming up that could be challenging or important? And what would you like to focus on in today's session?
So say they have several gridlock conflicts. I would do day 1 for the assessment, day 2 for a conflict, blueprint, dreams within conflict and compromise exercise for the one issue, and then do that all over again the next day for another issue.